Okay, so we're going to continue on with our lecture about getting ready to take college algebra, reviewing intermediate algebra. This is page 3 of the worksheet, and it says to factor completely as possible. Whenever you factor, you want to see if there are any things in common, maybe with the numbers. We have 7, 9, and the coefficient of 1, understood. They don't have anything in common, so we can't factor out a number. Next, look at the letters, z squared, z cubed, and plain z. I see that all three terms have z, so I could factor out a z. And when you do factor out a z, a single one, all the ones on the inside will reduce by 1. So before there were 2 z's, now there's only 1. And next to the 9 there were originally 3 z's, but I'm factoring out 1, so it reduces to z squared. And lastly, if I'm factoring out a z from a z, I'm left with a 1. Check it, distribute back in, you should get what you have originally. Now you would want to try to see if this was factorable in any way. It might help to write it in descending order, but it's not necessarily required, but it does help you if you were to use the quadratic formula, if you were solving for x or z or something like that. This is not factorable any further, and so we can leave it alone at this point. Okay, and you could have factored out a negative z as well. That would have been acceptable. You would have gotten a slightly different looking answer, but it would have been an equivalent answer. Alright, so let's go to another one. This one says z squared minus 6zk minus 16k squared. Now this is a trinomial. Anytime you want to factor trinomials, and they are in relatively descending order, you want to see if you can factor by taking the first coefficient by the last coefficient, multiplying them to get negative 16. And you want factors of that add up to be negative 6. So I look through my factors. I cannot get 1 and 16 to add up to be 6 in any way. If I use the factors 2 and 8, with the 8 being negative, that would add together to be negative 6, but still multiply to be negative 16. So these are the two factors that I want to use. I'm going to rewrite the expression using those two factors, replacing the middle term with the two factors. This is called factoring by grouping, and it is a common method of factoring taught in intermediate algebra. Once you've replaced the middle term with your two factors, make sure that if you combine like terms you would get what you had originally. The next step is to draw parentheses around your first two objects and your last two objects, and technically I'm going to insert a plus sign just to make things a little more clear. It's a technicality, it's really supposed to be there, but often we don't show it when we're in a hurry and things like that, so I added in a plus sign. From the first set, take out what you can. We can factor out a z, and we would have z plus 2k left on the inside. Look at the second set. Take out what you can from that. We could take out an 8 and a k, particularly a negative 8. So let's do that. And we would have a z plus 2k left. Always distribute back in and make sure that you could get what you have on the line above. If you distribute back in and you don't get what you had on the line above, you've done something wrong. In this step, you wanted the inside parenthesis pieces to be identical, and they are. And when they are, you drop them down, write them one time, and you connect these outer pieces and put them in their own set of parentheses. And then you are done factoring. So this was factoring by grouping, and it is a basic intermediate algebra skill to have.